January 2nd, Thursday. And I hope you guys had a great Christmas and a really good New Year's. I did not make a video last week. It was Christmas, so I was going to put it off, and then I forgot about it, and then I forgot about it again. I did weigh myself, though, and I believe I was 239 last week. No, 241. I think it was 241, actually. Today was 243.8, so going up, not down, not loving it. I don't know, it is what it is. I'm almost done, or I just finished today with my SS31. I have since started with the MOTS-C. My husband decided he wanted to do the MOTS-C as well, so I started him on that. Today, I just got some new items. All right, so I got some kind of an amino. It's like a 5-1 amino. I got the NAD+. I got ARA16 and the KPV. So the amino is a pill form, so I'll be taking that. The other ones, I believe, are injectable. I don't think they're inhalants. One of them might be an inhalant. I'll have to look. We also, my husband and I, started taking the Cellular. You can use it subcutaneously, but I'm doing it as a nasal inhaler. I haven't really noticed like a mood elevation or anything like that. So it could be either I'm not inhaling it correctly. It could be that since I'm already on somewhat of a mood elevator with the bupropion, that it doesn't really do much more for me. Maybe it is doing a little bit of something, and I would be, I don't know, a little more anxious if I didn't take it. You're supposed to take between 250 to 500 micrograms up to 3 times a day. And the way that we reconstituted it, basically every spray is 100 micrograms. So today, I think, was it today? I did 2 in each nostril, so that's 400. I've only been doing it once a day. I haven't been doing it multiple times a day. I'm not sure what my husband's doing with his. Someone else mentioned that they tried the melanotin 2 and it helped with their libido issues, so I will attempt that. I just put an order in for some pens, those injector pens. There's actually a sale or a bundle going on right now for 3 pens with 5 sterile cartridges for $60. It's that easysupply.com, I think is what the address is, the website. Anyway, it's for the version 1 pens. I have the version 2 right now. It'll be interesting to see what the version 1's about. I decided to get some more because my husband, it's actually doing the Tirzepatide as well. He's only planning on doing it for like a month or something, is what he said. So he's at the 2.5. He has a little bit of weight to lose, not a lot. He's a typical tall, skinny guy who has put a little bit of weight on as he's gotten older when the metabolism slows down a little bit. I don't think that he should just do a month and stop. If nothing else, it's really good for blood sugar and insulin leveling out and helping out with that. And we probably all could use that help as we age. So anyway, I wanted more pens, more injector pens. So I went with 2 orders. So I should be getting 6 new pens in. So that'll be nice. I have a label maker that I bought. It's so little. The labels come out of here. This opens the lid. It has these little labels that you can buy separate with it. Something interesting about this is the Nimbot. It's Niimbot, Nimbot brand. Might be Neembot. I think it's just Nimbot. The labels that they have from what I've read, they have a chip in the spool. So it sounds like you can't really use off-brand labels in this label maker, which is interesting. But a way around it, and kind of a pain in the ass way around it, is if you use an empty spool and then you unspool the generic and re-spool it on the other one, then you can use it because you're still using a spool that has the chip in it. I have a couple of the Nimbot brand labels. Some of them are really cute. So I'm not worried about the whole spooling and unspooling at this stage. And you can get some good deals when their site, they have several different sales that go on. And I'm not doing so many labels that I really need a ton. But I have been labeling my cartridges, my vials that are coming, because I had one in my little refrigerator. I had forever, and I thought it was a 30-gram Tirzepatide, 30 milligram Tirzepatide, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I did like all this sleuthing, this legwork, and then I finally went back to the place where I purchased it, and I was like, I think this is what it is. And they're like, well, send us a picture. They're like, yeah, that's definitely the 30. Point being, I hadn't labeled this particular vial. So having, so this is kind of what the labels look like when they come out. They're pretty little. This one is I think it's 40 millimeter by 12 millimeters or something like that, maybe. Maybe not. It's 40 by something. 14 by 40, my bad. So they fit actually pretty well around the vials. I think I have one here that I can show you what it looks like. Yeah, So the label wraps around it pretty well. It still gives you a little bit extra so you can see like how much, so when you're reconstituting it, you can see what it looks like. So I am just sitting here labeling all my vials. I'm just sitting here labeling all my vials so I don't forget what it is that I have, because that's kind of important. Another thing that is important is when you're reconstituting to really pay attention when you're using a reverse calculator as to what the milligrams are in the jar. I had one vial of the SS31 left, and I reconstituted it, and I was like, okay, and I'm going to do 7 units a day, and that should last me a month. Well, I was going to buy some more of the SS31, and I wanted to compare prices. So I looked at my spreadsheet on when I originally purchased them, and it said that they were 25 milligram vials. When I reconstituted it as 125 milligram vials. So I was basically microdosing myself for like the longest time, because in reality, I was supposed to be doing 4 milligrams a day out of a 25 milligram vial. That's like 4 or 5 days, right? And instead, I was using it for like a month, because the protocol is supposed to be like 28 days, 28 to 30 days. Not sure why I thought it was 125 and I didn't question it, but so little advice from me to you is really double check or triple check when you are using those reconstitutor calculators, because if you have the incorrect dosage of how many milligrams are in your vial, it's going to all just F it up. So I finished with the SS31 today. I'll take my second shot of the MOTS-C. I'm doing 5 milligrams of MOTS-C. They both are for like mitochondrial repair. So SS31, as I understand it, repairs your mitochondria. The MOTS-C helps you generate more of it. So it sends out more of the mitochondria, and hopefully they've been repaired at this point. It's not going to hurt you to take the MOTS-C if you haven't taken the SS31. It just doesn't allow it, I don't think, to do its job as functionally as it could. So, but I've got so many more things to take now. So having another pen handy will allow me, and then I'm just going to label the pens so I don't mistake it. So what I'm going to do also, so I'll label the pens. I'm going to say like what the cartridge is in, like, so if it's a MOTS-C or if it's a KPV or if it's a whatever, I'll have that on the pen. It'll also say what the dosage is going to be, like 25 units. So I can just look at my pen and be like, okay, So yeah, I don't remember if I told you guys about this before, but I've just been putting my, my pen tips and my needles in just to a sandwich bag, because I was going to drop them off at the hospital or something for them to be hazmated. But then I'd started a second sandwich bag, and I thought, oh, well, I'll just put the rest of my stuff in an empty, like, Miralax container, because I've heard that you can put them in hard-sided containers. Well, I had my sandwich bag on the stairs to take up, as we all do when you have stairs. You know, if you don't want to take it up right then, you put it on the stairs to remind you to take it up later. I was in the kitchen and I heard like this crunching noise. So I go over there, and one of my dogs, I don't know why, because nothing about this bag should have smelled good, had been chewing on the bag, ripped it open because it's a sandwich bag. It's not very strong. Needles everywhere, some of which were no longer capped, like needles bent and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I'm like shooing them away. And then I went upstairs to get the Miralax container, and I told my kids, stay out of this area. I have no idea what would have caused him to want to chew on that. It was the weirdest thing. So I got everything cleared up, and vacuumed and whatnot, but I was not pleased. But now everything's safely in a very thick-walled container, and I still have probably a good half of it to go before I need to dispose of it, so it's just kind of weird. I started watching a TV series called High Potential, and at first I thought it was going to be a play like on Getting High, like a marijuana type weed show, but it's not. The lady that's in it, I'm wanting to say she was in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't watch that show because I could not get behind the humor, but I think it's the same woman that was in that show. She plays a woman who has high potential in the sense of she's got like I don't know if it's a photographic memory, but her brain's just always going. So maybe it's a form of ADHD or something. And so she's a janitor in a police station, and she fixes somebody's murder board, basically. And they're like, who did this? And they find out it was her. And then they find out that she's got like this hidden potential. So then she becomes a consultant for the LAPD, I think is where they are. So it's really good. So if you guys have access to it, High Potential, it's pretty funny. And of course, I was telling my husband, the thing that bothers me about these kind of shows is, so she's on like as a consultant, but they don't say, oh, we haven't seen you for 2 weeks. How's it going? It makes it seem like she's there every day. And I don't feel like a police department should need to have an outside consultant to help them close cases on a daily basis. So that part bugs me. And that was the same with like Monk or Elementary or any of those type of shows where they're consultants to a police department. I get that they can't all be police, and it makes it a little interesting because there's people that don't do things by the book kind of a thing. But yeah, so that kind of bugs me that they can't solve their own cases on the regular. But still, it's funny. It's a funny show so far. Wicked has come out for streaming. I have not watched it yet, but I will at some point. Probably. I've heard very good things. My mom really liked it. She went out to see it with a friend, and she's like, can I just say that show was amazing? It was really cute. Health-wise, I've been feeling pretty good. I started taking that Miralax in the morning instead of at night. My whole thing before was I'm going to take it before bed. It'll give it, all the time when I'm working, sleeping to work, and then I can go to the bathroom in the morning and everything's great. Well, I don't know why, but it was when I was doing that, I felt like it was urgent in the morning and not, it was very, how to phrase this not graphically, very loose, I guess, is a way to just put it out there. So I started thinking about it, and if the whole thing is it's osmotic, so it pulls water from your intestines to help soften fecal matter, right? It makes more sense to take it in the morning because then I'm drinking water all day. So when I'm eating food and I'm drinking water, it has a chance to work, synergistically. Whereas if I'm just taking it at night and I'm only drinking a little bit of water before bed, then it doesn't really have much to go from. So since I've started taking it in the morning, I've noticed that it's not nearly as loose of an issue. It's still soft. I'm able to go daily now. So if anyone's kind of struggling with the Miralax side of things, I would say take it in the morning. And as it's osmotic, it's not going to be something that your body gets addicted to, from what I understand. I've had doctors tell me in the past that I can take it daily for life, basically. when one of my kids was having problems with his stomach, they thought maybe it was a constipation issue. And they're like, yeah, just put him on it. And I'm like, well, for how long? And they said, oh, just forever, which seems weird. But from everything that I've read, this particular style, since it's not a stimulant, is fine to be on pretty much indefinitely. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And it's made me feel a lot better. So my husband's thinking about doing carnivore for the new year. He wants to start exercising more, and I should start exercising as well. My Facebook has been full of this ad that's called Show Her Off. And it's like a basic beginner dance tutorial kind of thing. I'm wanting to say it's DVDs, maybe. I think I have a DVD player that could play it. I don't know why it's not downloadable in this day and age. And maybe it is. But it looks kind of fun, so I'm kind of contemplating purchasing that and having us learn how to do some different, various swing dance styles. I definitely noticed the weight gain, especially with my Fitbit. My Fitbit's tighter than it has been. My face doesn't look as thin. I'm definitely retaining, I think I'm retaining fluid as well. I'm not sure if it's all food related or if it's testosterone related, because I am taking the cream now, or if it's estrogen, progesterone related. I don't know how any of that interacts. Probably a fair amount of it is food related. Since it is a new year, I am trying to be diligent about the food that I'm purchasing. I'm not going to do a purge and get rid of everything in the house. I am going to try to be more mindful about what comes into the house, though. We made a turkey yesterday and some broccoli. That turkey was so good. We brined it for like 2 days ahead of time. And then I made a stock out of the carcass. And that stock really gelled up. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So that's always good. We use it if we make rice or if I make soup. I use any kind of the stock. Before I go to like a store-bought situation, I'll use stuff that we do first. So if I buy chickens from Costco, I will take the meat off the chicken and then I'll freeze the bones. And then when I have a couple of those bone carcasses, then I'll make some more stock. This turkey was fairly large, so I just used it in its own. But I don't know if I want to start getting back into like kombucha and water kefir and ginger bugs. I am doing the sourdough bread. I've made some awesome focaccia breads lately, like just chef's kiss. This last one I made was excellent. So I'll probably still continue on with sourdough because I do feel the sourdough is better than just regular white bread. It's pre-fermented. That's got to help for a little bit. Rearrange some of my pantries. I just rearranged some of the pantries and cupboards a couple of months ago, so here I am doing it again. I think that'll make more sense now, but I love to like organize and reorganize. Speaking of, I just went to Michael's with my sister the other day and they were having a storage container sale. So I bought it's a cart on wheels and it's like 3 tiers and it has a lid that goes on it because I was thinking, I could use that in my office here and do like diamond dot paintings or coloring or whatever while I wait for calls. Just so I don't have to clear off the rest of my desk, because let's be honest, my desk is a pit right now. It's a long table, but it is full of, monitors and computer stuff and desktops and all that kind of stuff. And it's hard to have a space to do something. So this 3-tiered system with a top on it is nice because then I can just use it like as a tray kind of situation. I did my nails for New Year's. One of my sons came in and he was like, hey, will you do my nails gold and purple for New Year's? And I was like, yeah, sure. So then I asked my other son and he's like, oh yeah. And then he wanted blue and a different shade of bluish green. And then I just did gold because I figured gold's a good, party color. And then we went to my sister's house and had a fun friend and family New Year's. So that was a good time. I like that my kids feel comfortable, my boys feel comfortable to ask me to do their nails. They don't ask me to do them often, which is a shame because I have probably 30 to 50 fingernail polish colors. But I like that they don't feel like they get made fun of for wearing colors. I think fingernail polishes are fun. They are very easy to put on. They're easy to take off. They're not permanent. And you can just, express yourself with pretty things. I think that's good for any gender or sex. All right, guys. Once I start taking the other stuff, I'll let you know how that goes, like the KPV or the amino acids or whatever. I'm wanting to say with the amino acids, there's like 120 tablets, but it's 30 milligrams per pill, and you're supposed to take like 50 at the minimum. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be underdosing myself or if I'm going to be taking 2 to give me 60, which is just over the minimum of what you should be taking. If I do take 2 a day, then that would be, giving me 2 months worth to see if I like it. I considered getting the SS31, but it's close to $200 for just one kit. And you basically go through a kit per cycle, per month or 2. Some people do it like hardcore, like they'll do 50 milligrams a day, which is on the very high end, but they'll do 50 milligrams a day for like a month. And then what is it? 50 milligrams every couple of days, I think is what it is. And then they'll still be on the SS31, but then they'll go to the MOTS-C, then they'll stop and they'll just have the MOTS-C. And then they go to maintenance, and that's where they do it. I don't know. That would be hella expensive to do 50 milligrams, even if they're doing 50 milligrams twice a week. If one kit is like $200 and they're 25 milligram vials, that's 5 injections. So it seems very pricey to do it that way. And if I don't really notice a huge difference in the way I feel, or the MOTS-C is really used for a lot of people who do weight training. It's supposed to be really good for muscle recovery, things of that nature. You can go longer and harder in your sessions, and I don't really exercise that much. My point being, I don't know that I will be purchasing the SS31 or the MOTS-C unless I can get it on a pretty good discount. But I'm interested to see how the KPV affects me, and the NAD+. I'm interested in that. I'm going to start the melanotin too pretty soon. I'm just going to be a freaking pincushion, you guys. I need to see, and I'm pretty sure that I can combine a number of them into one cartridge so that I can maybe like inject myself of 3 things like at one time. I don't want to have to inject myself like 3 times over. I think that I can do that with most everything. Then it just becomes a situation of trying to figure out how to properly dose myself doing multiple items. You can't mix the GLP-1s or the GIPs with other things. It turns like into a sludge. But the other stuff, typically you can mix and match. So I might look into that just to make it easier. But the whole idea of trying to figure out like how much to reconstitute it, and then having to reconstitute other things. Although I guess when I'm doing the calculators, I could just say, well, I just want to pull like 10 units and then go from there, maybe. I don't know. I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out. Then again, I said that with the SS31 and I microdosed myself, right? All right, guys. I will see you next week. Hopefully you guys are doing awesome in your weight loss endeavors. I hope to be back amongst you shortly. Until then, I hope you have a great week. Bye.